Peace, peace. Welcome back to all my loyal subscribers. Peace to all the guys and goddesses of the planet. Peace to all the human beings. Peace to all the high vibrational human beings at that. Kings and queens of the planet. Prince and princesses. Like I said, welcome back to the page. If this your first time viewing me, I am No From Vo. I'm a metaphysical. I'm in the study of metaphysics, and I like to present it in my own form. I'm an artist, designer, anything under the sun. I am that I am at the current time that I am, and it all depends on my perspective and where I'm watching from. So this is day 1 of 2024. We have made a complete revolution around the sun. So congratulate yourself, of course, because you were meant to be here. You were meant to be in the present, and you were meant to be where you currently are. It's that wine and that grape juice, you know. But you know, we're gonna take it slow for sure. Like I said, if you drink, go ahead and pour you up a cup, get comfortable. If you smoke, go ahead and light yourself up. For me, it just simply helped me elaborate on the things that I like to elaborate on, you know? Because sometimes being within these constraints of this society, it kind of continue to make you, be more compacted, and you have to allow yourself to be open and allow inspiration to flow inside of yourself. And to do that, it's an abundance of ways to do that. It's plentiful ways to do that, but you have to find your way to the light and to the darkness, wherever you're trying to go, with your on your path. But yeah, with thinking about light, we just made the full revolution around the sun. We back to the point that we started, We done made a complete revolution and we just back. We always come back. We coming back stronger than ever, And I'm just trying to help everyone, the masses, get what they want out of life, because that's the point of us all coming here, is to help enlighten others so that they can get the things that they want. And by y'all getting what y'all want, I get what I want also. And it's just me fulfilling my purpose and me fulfilling my duties for the day and of the hour. And for right now, fulfilling is just spreading the information that I've been receiving throughout the week so that I can receive more. Now, if I keep it all bundled aside, the universe not going to continue to give you that abundance of ideas and intelligence that you are looking for. Yeah, but with the full revolution being known, you have to also know that we have just entered a new portal, a new dimension. Because if you look back at the beginning of 2023, you were in a certain dimension. Now you're in 2024, certain dimensions, 2025, and so on. Different dimensions, same timeline. But you can always jump to different parts of that timeline to get in a certain position of a dimension. And I've been receiving messages from the ancestors and from the guides of the universe. They speak to me, through me, so that I can speak it to the masses. We have just entered in the abundance portal. And I received this message, and it wouldn't be on my heart to even tell y'all unless, because I have to meditate on this before I even present it, because I don't want to present, I will not present the messages that are not meant to be presented at the time. So right now, the message is meant to be spreaded that this is an abundance year, which is into the new portal, because they call it a year, but it's really a new portal. You got to look at it from a metaphysical standpoint so that you can receive the metaphysical energy of it. Because if you don't acknowledge this present, then it won't acknowledge you either. You have to acknowledge it. So like somebody saying hey to you, you're not saying nothing back. Next time they see you, they're not going to say hey, because you didn't speak last time, So with my vision of how I received it, at least, because most of these messages from my astral travels I want to actually present in my Patreon. That's gonna be my plan, because yeah, I can present information that I have read and that the ancestors have given to me, but the ones that I get from my spirit guides and my guardian angels and my ancestors, specifically through my visions, I feel like that's for the more elite people who actually want a more deeper dive into my personal experience, versus I can put out information that's already out there, but only expounding on it in my way that I want to present it. But yeah, with these underwater portals, I'm gonna give y'all a taste of what I will be coming with on my Patreons. This is how I received the message. This is what made me even say it was an underwater portal. So that was me, and it was more people, and it seemed like the CIA, the government, FBI, somebody was after us. So it was like an underwater portal. And water always is a sign of abundance. So if you ever have a water dream or something like that, then just know that would mean abundance. Because because water exists on every dimension. I mean every frequency. It was like one of the first elements created in the universe was water. So it exists on all planes of existence. So when you go to these other dimensions, if you're around water, you're around abundance. So I was around the abundance, and you can take the abundance as far as how you want to take it. And we had to jump into the water. It was like different sections that you had to go through, but it was people trying to grab me as I was going through the portal. And that's the fight that you're going to have to go through to get your abundance. Because, yeah, you don't want to say that nothing comes easy, because it can come easy. People win the lottery all the time, receive abundance, so it can come easy. But you have to go based on your subconscious, what your subconscious is telling you. It wasn't a hard fight, but I did notice that there were people trying to stop me. And I ain't saying that they were able to stop me. They couldn't even touch me. They barely grazed me at all. But they were still at the efforts, and I could still sense them. And that's the important thing, being aware. Knowing that your ancestors are telling you that the abundance is coming, you're going through a portal, but still there are things trying to stop you from being your most high vibrational self while you're going through these portals. So you always have to be aware of these things. And that's basically how I received the message last night. And that was just a little of what I received during that time. But like I said, those are going to be the things that I present when I do open up my Patreon and present my first video through my Patreon. And having these ideas and having these ways of thinking, it's not for everybody for sure. And it hasn't been throughout our timeline. And history can let you know that itself. Because there have been poets and people who thought outside of your regular theme of thought, the regular theme of thought. We had Socrates, which was a poet. And during his time, he was a simple free thinker. He wasn't a radical thinker. He wasn't anything like that. He was just a free thinker that wanted people to be able to grasp that everything is not so straightforward as the government. At that time, the government, it's always been a government or higher power. During that time, it was kings and queens. It's always something, a higher government hierarchy. So during his time, if you wasn't thinking the same as everybody else, then you were considered an outcast and outsider in a way. Now they consider popular because they put in so much of their life energy. They gave their life for it. So that corresponded to being great, because a prophet not welcome in his own home, and you more people give you your flowers after you gone. That's just how it go, and it still happens to this day. So it's nothing new. During the time when you're alive, everybody think you crazy, everybody think that, but when you're gone, then all of a sudden everything that you said was the most brightest. It's just why not appreciate somebody while they're here and why they can actually raise their vibration to give y'all more information, you know? Doesn't really make any sense. But basically, Socrates was, you know, he forcefully transcended, which it was just his time, which his vibration knew. It just, his reality, that's how his reality ended up forming the outcome of how he would go. But you were always meant to go at the certain time when you do go. Everything that happened was meant. But basically, he went on trial and things like that because they said he was spreading basically misinformation to the people. So, with them saying that about him during that time, they could execute you basically because you were spreading certain information. But I just took that as, because like I said, that's something that I was, you know, going into this week, reading a little Socrates, reading a little poetry, understanding it, going through the apology, things of that sort, just to understand people who actually have free ways of thought. And that's actually going to be helping you manifest more of your free ways of thought. Because it was demonized back in the day, but now it's actually a thing of importance, and it's getting popularized these days as somebody who has value is somebody who thinks outside the box. Now, if you think too far outside the box, then, you know, it is a thing as going too far or too extreme. Let them tell it. But I just took that as, you know, something, because once you start to unlock these neural paths in your brain of having the same way of thought that the greats has, you will receive what the greats received. Not so much you don't have to think about the negative side of the things that they receive. You can just think about the positives. So when you wake up and things like that, when you set in your vibration for the day, you can focus on the good that's going to happen. And that's the good that's going to come into your life. But basically, what I did like about Socrates is that he thought like somebody ahead of his time. And one thing that's really going to stick with me probably throughout life that I received from him was that he was talking to, I think the other person was named Ethios or something like that. If you know, you know. He was talking to Ethios. I'm gonna say Ethios because his name kind of, I know it's longer than that, but I shortened it. And if you know, like I said, you're going better look up the information and find out. But they was basically having a conversation, a dialogue with each other, and Ethios was on like the council, and he was about to put his dad on trial, and Socrates was just like, do you feel like that's just the right thing to do type stuff? That's your dad type stuff. How can you put your dad on trial and try to get your dad killed? You know, he's just like, how can you do that? Like, you know, he just wanted to know. He was a person who asked a lot of questions, and he wanted to receive a lot of answers in the most genuine way. He didn't want you to sugarcoat it or anything like that. And that's what I did like about him. He like straight up stuff. So basically, they were just talking about, because during that time they believed in Zeus and things of this sort. So he was like, which people still do believe in it to this day. It didn't really go nowhere. It just not as popularized as Christianity. You know, it used to be Zeus and all the mystical people who really did exist, and then it went to people who did exist but were different. You know, it's all the same. It's just a different book, different story, scrambled up a little bit different, things of that sort. But basically, like I said, they was having a conversation, and he was like, something he only feel like that's the right thing to do because that's what gods were like. And then that's what Ethios said to Socrates. And Socrates was just like, but don't they say that the gods was fighting, you know, amongst each other? And he was just like, yeah, that's true. They were fighting amongst each other. So he just like, if they was fighting amongst each other, what would cause them to have a fight? And basically, he was just like, it must have been something, because me and you, we wouldn't fight over certain things that we could improve, like measurements and things of that sort. They had to be fighting over something that was not measurable, basically what he said, by, you know, three-dimensional constructs. So he's like, what were they fighting over? Basically, what was the separation between the people? What was the whole thing over? So he was like, how can you say that something is unjust? Basically, if it's just, then the guys like it. But if it's unjust, then the guys don't like it. So he's like, if you just saying that it's God's, and certain guys can be of, they can like certain things that you do, and some guys cannot like certain things that you do, who to say which guys is right? And that's what he was going into with him. He just like, okay, you said guys had to fight over what was good and what was not good, so supposedly. So you can't be making some guys happy while you're making some guys unhappy. He was like, that's true. So if you saying that on the 3D plane that something is just because the guys say it's good and the guys say it's not as good, then which guys are you trying to please at the end of the day? And who says that we have to go under the one guy's construct? And that's basically what they got into. Of course, it was more elaborate, more in-depth, more pages, but basically that's what they were getting into. They didn't ever come to a conclusion of this answer because it really is a deep question. Making some guys happy while making some guys unhappy. You still can receive benefits and things like that because you are still making guys happy and guys have power. So that was real powerful what Socrates was talking about, and it made a lot of sense. If you didn't really want people thinking like that, then I can see why you would want somebody like him gone, because he was actually telling the people who had time to listen, which were probably people who had money, which they said that's who he was talking to, people who had money and had time to actually go and sit down and listen to his lectures and listen to his ways of thinking. So, and then, most of them type of people, they were, people of money's kids, and they the people who's going to be the future of that nation, who eventually are, their timeline ended up being probably the people these days who have, because he was talking to, these certain constructed people, and they probably still running things to this day. And, our timeline might have been changed based on, well, it definitely was changed based on the things that Socrates presented to the masses, well, to his people at the time, and then to the masses as it became more popularized. Because, like I said, the kids and people of age who he was telling, not so much kids, but like college kids and stuff like that, kids who, we all kids in the soul at the end of the day. It's a creative spirit, it's a creative universe. We only take on certain forms because we are meant to take on certain forms in this construct. But at the end of the day, we have a pure energy of straight, when the baby come out, pure happiness, like a high vibrational, the most high vibrational kid that you can see in the universe. But yeah, that was a real in-depth question. But definitely with 2024, something that I was gonna talk about was definitely not only this the best way to I want to just talk about some manifesting tips. So, because recently I've been manifesting like crazy, and I just want to, like I said, spread to y'all so that y'all can receive the things that y'all want out of everything that you could ever perceive, because like I feel like the universe won't give you a vision that you can't fulfill. It's like giving a cup, one of these, like giving it the idea, because all this is an idea that you can fill all the way up to the top if you couldn't do it. That's like if you started pouring inside a cup and there was holes in the side. That don't exist on this plane, so it's not gonna happen. This cup is meant to be filled. It gave it the vision of being this height, this density, this width. It gave it that idea, and then it was created. Because all creations come from the fourth dimension, then it comes down here. So this cup had the idea, this is what I want to be, this is the size. The universe gave it the idea, the size and everything. Why wouldn't it fill it up if it gave it the idea that it can be? I can fill this cup up all the way here if I want to, because it has everything that it can be filled up there. It has the potential of being filled. The universe is not going to give you an idea or something that you cannot fulfill. So if you see it in your vision, if you see it, if you can perceive it, then you can be it, because all you have to do is fill yourself up with that energy, and you going to see it clear as day. You going to walk it, you going to talk it, you going to be it. And that's what I want to talk about so far as like, yeah, the cup has the potential, but it still has to get to a certain place to be filled to the top. And then it's going to be used. then it's going to be refilled. Then it's going to be used, and it's going to be refilled and used and refilled until it deteriorates. And you have to get a new cup of size, of proper proportion. You might need a bigger cup. You might need a smaller cup so you can go through that process quicker. It's going to all depend on this cup's experience as a cup. If it wants to, in this next, because it's never going to be destroyed. The energy that it has, it's a cup. It's going to always take on the energy of a cup because that's what it likes to be. It likes to be filled. And it's just going to change its form. And I don't know why I went into that, but things that come to my mind is just like I have to elaborate on it. Or you're going to be not going with the universal laws. And that's the law of inspired action. That's called the law of inspired action. If I see something and I'm inspired by it, I have to take action on that to make it actually come into fruition. And that's part of the laws of the universe, which I'm going to definitely go into. There's another video, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be the 12 universal laws. Definitely going to be the title of that one. I want to talk, well, as far as what I wanted us to study this week, new week of 2024, it's going to be your telekinesis powers, which is, tele means at a distance, and your kinesis with a K is going to mean motion. So this just going to be you envisioning your things and then making them come into fruition in your life. This is going to be your practice of telekinesis. And this is going to be something that we're all going to be doing as a collective. Because with this new, like I said, we just went into this new portal. So new powers, new upgrades, new everything. So that's the benefits of going through these portals and completing the year cycle, because it's a new energy that come in. And we're supposed to have a eclipse coming over the United States, and it's just like, that's just one of the known things that we know of this coming up this year. And so I think that's going to be around April, if I am mistaken, March, April. So definitely stay in tune with that and just know this on the way. And when you envisioning these things, just know that the experience is sometimes actually better than the actual item. Your experience of just being able to meditate on having that, what you want, is sometimes better than actually having it. It's just always being in that state of having it, because once you have it, and it's like, now you're going to be wanting something else. So you're not even going to be really focused on the energy. But it's always going to be something else that's going to keep your energy high. Because once you get the car, then you might want the house, then you might want the pool, then you might want the community, then you should want the town, the county. It should always be something that's keeping your vibration always rising and rising and rising, because that's what our energy doing, is rising and rising and rising. So rise with your energy. And I did have a couple of more things that I want to go into, but I'm not gonna make the video long. End it right here. 23, Michael Jordan. So yeah, like I said, that's what we're gonna work on this week, your telekinesis. For this, you probably just need to focus on looking at one thing, just one thing for the whole. As long as you can concentrate on that one item, like get a pen or something, or draw a point on the wall across the room and just concentrate on it. But with that being said, peace to all the gods and goddesses of the planet. Peace to all the high vibrational beings. Continue to be yourself. Continue to grow. Continue to strive for success. And be your best self. Ashe.